Wrigley's Spearmint Gum presents The Howard Miller Show. Now, here with music on records is Howard Miller.
Thank you very much, Joe. As always, of course, it's a real delightful pleasure for us to spend the next quarter hour with you along the CBS line of great radio stations from coast to coast. And today, a very talented young lady who has had the opportunity of being in Chicago for the last few days on one of the big network programs, a radio show known as The Breakfast Club, and who is here today as our guest on our Wrigley Show. Miss Eileen Rogers, who we've been privileged to have once or twice before on this program, and it's always a delight because here indeed is a not only swell talent to interview, but a swell friend and a great little gal. Eileen Rogers from Pittsburgh, PA. All brought to you by Wrigley Spearmint Chewing Gum. And after this opening record by Eileen, one side of her big new hit for Columbia, we'll talk to Eileen and you'll hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak, but it's a pretty little filly that'll be speaking, all about the music world as she views it from her vantage point in the former Smoky City. Let's listen first off to Eileen Rogers with This Day.
Give me this day the right to say I'm once again in your heart. Show me the way right back to your arms. Never again to part. Grant me this day the right to say our love will be as before. Show me the way to help make amends. Say I'm the one you adore. I ask no other blessing than to have you by my side. Please hear what I'm confessing. I'll love you till I die. Bring back your kiss my lips have missed. Tell me we can stay apart. Give me this day the right to say I'm once again in your heart. So much, darling, we can't stay apart. Give me this day the right to say I'm once again in your
Beautiful ballad, isn't it? Done by Eileen Rogers, a Columbia record known as This Day. You know, a lot of people have expressed themselves in a lot of ways when they talk about the great heart of America. But sometimes I think the real heart, the pulsating beat of this nation, lies in its retail merchants, the stores which string across our never-ending nation in a never-ending line of real community service. Now, it's these retail merchants, the big stores, the little stores, the in-between stores, that constantly are performing a great public service to you, staying open so that you can buy the products and the quality products that you want for your family. And I every so often like to give a real salute and a low bow of humility to the businessmen and women all across these 48 states and up in Canada and in Honolulu and around the world who make the real pulse of America, the retail stores who perform the great service of being available for you. Now, one of the products that these fine merchants always carry is Wrigley Spearmint, and I hope you'll take advantage of the enjoyment that you can get from always chewing a delightfully good and pure and wholesome product. Why don't you try Wrigley Spearmint? If you haven't yet, I know that you'll enjoy it. It's a real treat always. For young and old, Wrigley Spearmint Chewing Gum. You'll always like it. It's good. Well, let's talk to Eileen Rogers, and you notice I said, since the smoke abatement law was passed, Pittsburgh is no longer the smoky city. How does it feel, though, to see the light of day, Eileen?
It feels great. It's grown up quite a bit, Howard.
I know, it's a great town. The Golden Triangle, where they always have the floods, isn't that where they usually have?
That's right. That's the city of the Three Rivers.
What, the Cucamonga and the Mezuzah?
And Anaheim.
And the Anaheim.
Yeah.
I thought so. You know, it's just swell having you here, Eileen. I think on 2 other occasions that you were on our show, once you were in a remote spot.
Twice I was in a remote spot.
Oh, is this the first time we've sat across the
No,
mic?
this is the second time.
So you've been on the show 4 times. This is too much. Goodbye.
I love it, though.
But every time you come around these parts, you always come bringing another swell effort on the Columbia label. And I remember about a year ago when you first started your recording career, how despondent a young lady you were because a hit hadn't occurred to you yet. And, gee, things just don't happen that fast, do they?
No, I would remember when you were talking about it. When the last time when Mitch was in town, that I was here, too.
Yes, we were reading it
we were having coffee somewhere, and Mitch asked me what was wrong, and I said I felt badly because we hadn't had a hit.
Uh-huh. And he said, don't worry.
That's right.
Sure. And then we all went out and ate, and we came back, and you felt better, he felt better, and everybody felt better. Well, that's the way it goes, swinging these days. But anyway, Eileen, since then, of course, you have had one tremendous hit for yourself, The Miracle of Love, which got on the charts, which is symbolic, I suppose, of having a hit.
Well, it took a long time for that, Howard. It took 6 months.
That was a slow starter, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
How do you account, you as a performer in the record business and dealing with Mitch as you do, how do you account for a record coming out and nothing happening to it for, say, 6 or 8 months?
Well, I asked Mitch that the last time when Columbia had their party in New York, and he told me that at the time Miracle was released, there was so much rock and roll out that I tried to work my way through, and was knocked down.
Uh-huh.
And then I tried again and was knocked down, and the third time it was rock and roll had slowly hit its happy medium.
Yes.
And that they accepted me when I tried again.
Well, wouldn't you call that almost a rock and roll song? Certainly it had a rock and roll beat. Its significance maybe was deeper than Scooby-Dooby type of lyric, but
well, the beat, yes, I guess the beat is like a rock and roll. They call that a fish beat.
Fish?
Yeah.
Where does that come from? You can
Smoke
buy it for a pin or
clams
something.
Something like that.
Smoke clams, bearded, or otherwise. Well, anyway, The Miracle of Love then turned out to be a tremendous hit for you, and off the heels of that comes this, which is also the side we're going to play, the wall side, which apparently your favorite side, has also been a substantial solo. This was a real hype song, wasn't it? This is one that everyone was enthused about.
Yes, it was. Of course, we covered a young boy who did a tremendous job with it on Epic.
Brooke Benton?
Yes. And then a young unknown covered me, Patty Page.
Patty Page, yes.
Yes.
She's a newcomer.
Yes, very, very talented girl, though.
She sure is.
I'm very flattered to even be in competition with her. But Mercury released hers. Patty and I, in fact, Patty, there wasn't a cover on it, really.
No.
Patty and I recorded it the same night.
Uh-huh.
But in 48 hours, mine was out.
Well, these things frequently happen where all the A&R men and all the people of music will get very enthused about a song that someone has done, and they'll all say, oh, this is a tremendous hit, and they'll all rush to cover it, and nothing happened. It dies a borning. There's no way of telling ahead of time that something's going to be a hit.
It's just like those spotlight reviews you get in Billboard. After you have a medium-sized hit, you automatically get a spotlight.
Yes.
I got it on Give Me,
Mm-hmm.
and I got it on The Wall. Patty and I both got the first 2 spotlights.
In other words, what
and
they're
it doesn't
doing is
mean anything.
they're making a bet on the favorites. That's what
right.
it is. And when you establish yourself, it's important. And yet I wonder how important it is, Eileen, because you look at the charts today, and for the unindoctrinated, charts are a word that we use in the record business, indicating those records which make a particular listing in a particular newspaper of show business, and those are the so-called hits. No, I made such a long speech about that, I forgot
I was
what
just
I was
going to say, what'd you say?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I was going to say... Oh, yes, I know what I was going to say. You say that it's important that you come off of a hit to have another one. And yet I wonder if it is, because on the charts today are all newcomers, practically. People who maybe make one record, it's a big hit, and maybe never make another one. So I don't know how important it is to have 2 or 3 hits in a row.
Well, I'll tell you something. The young boys in this business are knocking the girls out of it.
Sure. And you know why I think, Eileen? It's the same as in our conversation last evening when we had this dinner party for all these people. I think that today... the only way that girls can make a dent in the industry is by cutting country and western songs. And I think that you're all very foolish, and I don't mean to set myself up as the judge and jury, but I think you're all very foolish to do rock and roll, because not only doesn't it lend itself to the girl's voice, but girls buy records, and girls don't buy girls.
Oh?
Generally. But you know that, so I don't have to tell you that. But the point being... that it would seem to me that if you did a real country and western thing, it would just be delightful. Your mama's listening, isn't she?
Oh, yes, she's never missed a show.
Isn't that wonderful?
And she's up bright and early at 7 in the morning, too, to hear my other one.
She right there in Pittsburgh?
Uh-huh. And I bet my dad's there, too.
And I suppose she'll call you right after the show and say, what did he mean?
She always does.
She always does, huh? Well, anyway, we don't expect mamas to know everything there is about records, but I don't know, they're beginning to dig it the most. They are subjected to records all the time with their teenage youngsters, and so most mothers and fathers today apprise themselves of most of the information about the business.
To make a long story short, one of the Esquires that I worked with last week in Chubby's, his grandmother heard Miracle of Love for the first time, and she turned around and said to him, "Who's that guy?"
That's a wonderful story. Who's that guy? Well, here's this guy by the name of Eileen Rogers now, singing her newest Columbia hit, a thing called The Wall.
Bum, bum, bum. There's a wall between us, and it's not made of stone. Although we're together, I feel so alone. Though you say you love me, there's no warmth in your kiss. Speak your mind, my darling. We can't go on like this. Is it something I've done that changed you? Has something I've said hurt you so? Is there someone else that you care for? Whatever it is, let me know. There's a wall between us. Will it keep us apart? Darling, tear down that wall and mend my broken heart, and mend my broken
That's The Wall with Eileen Rogers. You know, it's days like this, little Eileen, that I sort of wish Mr. Wrigley had purchased 2 hours of time, because it's always fun to talk to you on the CBS network, and thank you so very much for being here.
It was my pleasure, Howard.
Will you say hello to the mama in Pittsburgh?
Say hello to her. She's listening.
What's her name?
Mary.
Mary? I'll
Yeah.
call her Mama Mary.
Okay.
Mama Mary, I hope you enjoyed listening to your daughter. That's what I'd say if direct communications were allowed. Eileen, the best of luck. Thanks very much, and God bless you on your tour. I hope it's a real success.
Thank you very much,
Thanks
Howard.
a lot. Eileen Rogers from the Columbia Record Company, and from Chicago for Wrigley Spearmint Chewing Gum. You try this product. It's just swell, and thanks again to all the retailers who handle a swell product and bring additional service to the people of America. This is Howard Miller. We'll see you tomorrow. Here's the star of our show, Joe Foss.
Join Howard tomorrow when his guest will be Jerry Wald on the CBS Radio Network.
CBS Chicago, the WBBM Air Theater. WBBM FM, Chicago.
Line of good taste. King-size bottles at popular 12-ounce price.